am studying computer engineering here, and I'm also a student leader within the UTD Esports program. Previously, I was a player for the Overwatch varsity team, and then I became an analyst for that team. I've taught many young kids and their parents in the past when we ran our school's summer camp program for esports. And just generally, I've spoken pretty often on behalf of the program, either through different panels or just interviews that people have had. So, getting into it, what is esports? Let's define that real quick. So, written here, it says that esports is the competitive tournaments of video games, especially among professional players. And I'd claim this definition to be pretty accurate. Esports involves the competition between individuals or teams. They play specific games that are meant to be fair and competitive. So it's very similar to how you might think of traditional sports, how they're played and consumed, except you might just replace the fields and the players with maps or characters that are controlled in those games by these skilled players, either a computer or a console. And I think that all sounds honestly pretty nerdy to me, but honestly, it pretty well fits into that category. And I honestly think that makes it pretty perfect for an environment like UTD that we have here. We literally sell merchandise that says, keep UTD nerdy, and it's some of the most popular stuff that we sell here. Esports is a pretty niche competition, and that might make it less desirable, but I honestly think we're not strangers to that here either. UTD was a major investor and one of the starting schools to support collegiate chess. And that is, honestly, we've consistently placed in the top 4 every single year that we've been in it. And it's left a super positive history behind it. It's almost given UTD this personality that we didn't have before. So I really think that it's a good place for niche, nerdy competition. But esports, I think, is the same, if not more important. Esports on the campus started like a lot of other things we have here. It was just a small group of enthusiastic gamers looking for common interests and a community. And the easiest way to do that is by starting a club. A organization by the name of TESPA, it is the Texas Esports Association. It's a little devious of a name because it's a national branch. They allowed us to start a community and get the ball rolling here. They have over 270 different chapters nationwide. That actually includes not just every single U.S. state, but that also includes some Canadian provinces as well. So it's pretty far spanning. I immediately was able to take an interest in this, and during the first few weeks of colleges, this club helped me make so many different friends. So now TESPA supports any form of gaming on campus, but specifically for the competitive players, they offer a chance for us to show our skills in standardized tournaments. These tournaments have over 550 participating teams from almost every single school in the nation that has enough players that are interested. And these tournaments they have tens of thousands of dollars worth of scholarship money behind them. I was able to help form one of the different teams for Overwatch, the top game that you see there. And with me and my get-together group of friends just playing the game we loved, we were placing top 64 in the bracket by the end of our first semester, which is, again, out of that 550 different participating schools. Similarly, we also had a League of Legends team here on campus. Now, they don't compete under TESPA. Riot, the game makers, host their own collegiate tournament, and that also has tens of thousands of dollars of backing. They were even more successful in the beginning. They, without any campus support, were able to get to a top 16 level, which was super, super good for these type of tournaments. We also had different opportunities to compete in just small tournaments that were around. We went to different venues such as the Java Gaming Cafe. That's just really close here over in Carrollton, actually. And we would win just a few $100s playing, or if a company wanted to sponsor the tournament with a product, we would maybe even get some extra stuff like that. I think all of this sort of proved that this campus was a really good spot and had a lot of potential for a real solid official program in the university. So with all that potential and a very generous donation from this gentleman here, his name is Daniel Shen. He's the CEO of a very successful gaming-inspired energy company known as Sector 7. In fact, the name derives itself from a game that he loved. He donated $100,000 to the program, and UTD, with that, kickstarted their official program underneath of the athletics department. And with that, we were able to provide the program a room that was with a lot of heavy support from the desktop support team. We set up this amazing room. It's got, I'm sure you've seen it. It's got all these lights. It's amazing PCs in it that offer like no compromise experiences, right? And also alongside that, we were able to hire a full-time coach, as Jabby mentioned earlier. His name is Greg Adler. The two aforementioned games that I talked about, League of Legends and Overwatch, are what we started our program off of. And initially, we were just like joining from the amateur team to the official team because we had that experience. We were playing on these teams, and most of us were at the level to where we could represent the school under the official program. And with access to these new no-compromise setups that I talked about, they also had us under consistent practice schedules, and this is actually very important. We had very close proximity to our teammates, so we were sitting next to each other. This is before COVID. We were able to actually push our teams to the next level here. We, both of our Overwatch teams that we started, went from a top 64 standing to a top 16 standing, and our League of Legends was able to push from a top 16 to a top 8. And this is just the beginning. That was just in our first semester. We also received significantly more invites to play in tournaments because of our official branding, and because of the athletic department's support, we were able to go to tournaments that we might not have previously been able to go to. This was especially concerning tournaments that might have been previously like too far to attend. One of my favorite memories in this regard was when we were able to travel. We flew as a full team, both League of Legends and Overwatch, to Kansas City, Missouri. Now, the tournament that we went to was hosted by Planet Comic Con, and they were offering a pretty good sum. They had a few $1,000s per tournament at the venue. We had no idea really what the competition was like in this area, and we'd never competed in person in an area that wasn't just locally here in Dallas. We didn't know if we'd even walk away with anything. Here's me with our first place trophy with that. And our League of Legends team was also able to take first. Thank you. I'm really grateful for this trip, and it's not even just because we, obviously we had the opportunity to go. We were able to win the tournament, make some money, right? But honestly, like one of the highlights of this trip was just getting, for me personally, to meet some of the closest friends that I'd made that I'd never seen before in person. I knew these people online for 3 years previously and never got to meet them. So here's us sitting outside one of the places that we've done. These are just really cool people, and just having this experience, having that opportunity was able to get me here. And they very generously gifted me stuff for, I think it was Easter time around that. Don't ask me why my friend looks like he's trying to explore the Amazon rainforest in the middle of Kansas City. I'm not sure. A couple of semesters later, we also decided that we would add a Smash Brothers Ultimate team to our roster, and within their first semester, they were able to qualify to go to Boston. They got a full expense-paid trip to go compete nationally to represent our team here. And they took first place. A very convincing first place. The entirety of every single Smash Brothers team that is in the USA and Canada competed here. All the good teams competed here. And we were taking first in our first semester. It was just mind-blowing. It was crazy. And feats like this aren't even only recognized in the span of collegiate. So if you'll allow me to brag a little bit more about our Smash team, the top-level analysts for Smash Brothers in general put out a list called the Power Rankings. It's similar to like sports. They list all the top-level individual players of any given region, right? And that includes top-level professional players that do this full-time. You'll see here that this is the power rankings for DFW, and at UTD here alone, we have 4 different players that are within the top 12, including one player that's all the way up there at top 4. These players have the drive to succeed. And honestly, like, these players are probably going to succeed in anything they set their mind to, because competition like this teaches the skill of improving. Being able to be self-critical, to self-review, and make necessary changes to yourself teaches, like, can be applied to any task that's skill-driven. And it's the reason that a lot of very successful individuals you might know of are often not just good at the one thing they do, they're also pretty often good at a lot of other things as well. It's because of that skill of improving. So programs like here, what we have at UTD can give players this knowledge, give them the chance to succeed, and it gives them a lot of opportunities and resources that they might potentially use to push for professional play if they'd like to. They can make this a full-time career if they'd like. And the support's only getting stronger from here on out. So it's easy to get sucked into sort of the competitive aspect of esports. The reality of everything is that these competitive players that I mentioned only make up about like 0.1% of all players who even touch the game, right? But I think what often more goes unnoticed is all these other incredible, amazing opportunities that esports provides for people to make entire careers out of. These professional level broadcasts require very similar production staff and behind the scenes work as you might know like a traditional like NFL or NBA game to have, right? They require casters, analysts, coaches, camera crew, stage directing, marketing. They need data analysts. All these are they are necessary within this program. That's just within the span of this one production. There's so many different productions that are coming out of this industry to provide so many opportunities. And it's really just easy to see how not only passionate players are able to make a living within the field, but also just people who are passionate about the game and have a skill set that fits this. One of the key things that I think separates esports from a lot of other traditional sports is accessibility. Anybody that has a computer that can run the game and has a decent internet access has a relatively equal chance of competing and making it big. I'll tell you the story of this person here. This gentleman is named Mickey. He is a recent player for in the Overwatch League for the Dallas home team here. And over the past few years, he's gained a lot of recognition. He's one of the star figures in the esports community. He's got this nonstop positivity, this extremely hard work ethic. He grew his career from an extremely hard start in life, though. He came from Thailand. The average income in Thailand is $3,300 US. That's compared to the US typical average salary, $33,000 US. That's just a tenth of it. So in Thailand, family's everything, and you kind of live and take care of them your entire life. And having a good way to support your family is extremely sought after in these communities. And given his access to computers and internet early into his life, he was able to completely take care of them and much further. He was open to so many extra opportunities on top of his esports career just because of that initial support that he got. And this is only one example out of many that I could give. But I think being able to provide the same opportunity to our students here is really important. And I think we can do so in just the general labs that we have here. I think if we give them the opportunity to succeed, they're probably going to take it. We could potentially even push for more support. I think that maybe like having more resources such as like more gaming capable machines would not only increase the chances of success for students who come in and are looking for those opportunities, but it would also really reflect positively with the communities for gaming and just the campus as a whole, similar to how chess had those opportunities. And I think competition, it's really the front line of all the esports media. And it's, at this point, really easy to see how someone can make a full-time career out of either playing or supporting the esports industry. But the most important factor to me always comes back to community. Here's me sitting next to a friend getting to meet some of these figures that we looked up to. This is Jane on the right is one of the head coaches for the Dallas Fuel team. He's got, again, an extremely good work ethic and is someone I look up to a lot. And Mickey, the person I was just mentioning about. We got to meet these players. And it's just all of the journeys that I've had with esports that I've taken. The highlight of it is never, oh, how well we did. It's never, oh, how did we place? Did we win this tournament? No, it's always just been the people I've met. It's always been the friends that I've come to make. And it's the same exact feeling that I had whenever I was starting college and joining into TESPA, looking for people that had that common interest. People look out for each other in the gaming industry and all our communities here. And with everything that's happening, I think it's got extreme potential for a really positive environment. So esports is competition. Esports is definitely becoming an industry. But most of all, esports is a community. And thank you.